All right. So this will be video number 2 for tips and guide on 2v2 KE. So in this video we're going to be looking at skills, the application of skills, what is the expected outcome of me using such skills, their overall, usage in general. Sorry, I'm not doing this with a script, so anyways. So KE has really strong tools at a really cheap cost, and specifically with a really good refund and reach in overall range and application of skills, right? The core buttons that this character has, well, just like any other L-boy item body, like this is like pretty much your most important button. So outside of that, well, you have other skills that are mainly utility, or they are mainly used as combo extenders or trading tools. When it comes to KE, well, most of his super armor options are really like long, right? As we can see here. So, well, most of the time, Power Smash is gonna be like the button that we're gonna be using the most. It does a lot of things, right? It can be quick damage. It can be like as a lingering hitbox. It does have good range, as we can see here, right? You can slide it off platforms too. So we're gonna do Power Smash first of all, right? So this is a good confirm. So for example, I would be able to like do, if I don't want to fully commit with my body going up here like this, right? I can do, and I don't want to spend, like Crescent. I can do Power Smash, right? So look at this, right? And they are gonna be like in hard hits on here, right? Since it's low, it's not gonna show. But I don't have anybody to like test it right now, so well, not test it, show it, but the application is still pretty much the same, right? You use it like that. It also covers below you, right? So you create a really big hitbox around you. It also hits behind you as well, to a degree, right? Not a lot, but it does work, right? So Power Smash is your best tool in general. I think it's definitely his best active, right? It has multiple applications, as I said. It's an easy confirm, right? It allows you to like either a style or get people out of the way, as you can see there, right? So options are pretty much really, I would say, like ample. Like they're really a lot of options out of Power Smash. You can link it into pretty much anything. Power Smash item body, right? As you can see there. Power Smash into roll, right? Power Smash counter. Into any special active, right? Pretty much. It does have a lot of applications when it comes to like spacing. As you can see there, you can like extend it with a, if you press it at the right time. You can slide it just by walking as well, and that increases your range by a long time, right? So if I do Power Smash from here, it's not gonna work out. However, if I dash, I can like slide it and get a a bigger range, right? So that is your best tool, your best active, in my opinion. It does a lot of things. As I said, it does damage. It covers a lot of range. It's a super armor option. It's your trading tool. It can also like meaty sometimes, depending on how you time it. So yeah, learning how to effectively use Power Smash is definitely one of the key points of one of the key points of like learning how to play KE effectively, right, at a high level. So you can use it to, like, for example, if they drop Haunting Spirit on you, you can use it to take it, right, and then cleanse it right after with item body, right, if you have MP like that. So that's pretty much application number 1 and skill number 1 to like take a look at, which would be Power Smash. Number 2, we're gonna look into special active. Mortal Blow. Mortal Blow is your best special active in general. It does a lot of things. It gets you catches from range. It does damage. It does have a lot of refund on it. It's your main stacking skill whenever you're doing tenacity build. So using this in general, or learning how to use it, is most important, right? Learning the max range of it, like, okay, like it's gonna hit from here, right? That'll be like the max range, as you can see here. It covers a platform high. And well, it does heavy hits, so you can follow up, right? As you can see there. So effectively learning how to use it would be pretty much like, okay, in reality, in this point right here where I'm standing, I am covering both platforms, right? Assuming that they're sitting there, right? As you can see there, right? So effectively learning that, the range specifically, would be the most important thing. You can slide it off platforms as well. Like this. So you have a little bit more mobility. But the hitbox almost, most of the time stays, you know, up there, right? This is mainly so you can like do, for example, like this, right? Let me turn off dynamic camera, fuck that. So I can slide it. And I'm hitting 2 people, right? If I have hyperaxle, I can slide it even further, right? So most of the time you're gonna be like, you know, we're going around. Okay, I gotta confirm, go in, right? Or, you know, hyperaxle into mortal blow, right? So yeah, it's really, really important that you know how to use it. You can slide it so you get, you know, closer to them. So yeah, you can have those extra steps, so you can extend the range of most of your skills, right? As you can see, I'm hitting 2 people from there, right? So a good application would be that, like I'm getting someone here, their teammate is coming, I drop down, drop this, I'm hitting both people at the same time. So yeah, mortal blow is your best tenacity when it comes to damage, when it comes to like catching, utility. It also can help with saves, right? So learning how to do it and learning how to effectively use it is imperative as well. Now let's move on to the next, I think his second strongest tenacity, which would be Crescent. The reason why Crescent is really good is because it's an advancing hitbox that is meaty, does a lot of hit stun, right? It has priority over other buttons. So for example, it would do like, you know, like it's 2 hits, right? So it would do the first hit, and then when it would do the second one after they clash or they awaken or they use the skill, right? So sometimes you're gonna win the trade automatically just by pressing Crescent, right? So it can be just like Mortal Blow. It can be slid off of platforms, right? Especially with Hyperaxle, as you can see, like it's really strong, right? So learning how to do it, learning the angles, pretty much like learning what's the range of your button is really, really, really important. So for example, without Hyperaxle, I can still like do this if I don't dash. If I dash it a little bit more, if he was closer, I would be hitting, right? As you can see there. So do keep in mind, if you're falling off of a long platform, sometimes you're gonna be losing the iframes if you already, you know, like touch the ground. I mean, you didn't touch the ground in time, or if you cancel it, right? This is also one of your main iframe options. It is to be noted as well. If you're getting hit by Fog of Death and you press Crescent, well, you can do something that is called a fog skip, but that's gonna be another topic for base Elsword, right? But pretty much, it does have a long animation, as you can see here, right? So throughout this long animation, I can select pretty much anything that I want, right? I can do like Mortal Blow, right? I can do Crescent, normal Sonic Blade, right? I can do Iron Body. I can do Power Smash. Or I can just wait it out and press Option, for example. Or Sonic Blade into Clock, for example. And everything is super armor, right? I mean, like iframes, right? So that is really important for you to learn. That if you do it like this, you can wait it out, right? But let's say if I'm pressing forward while doing it, it's gonna automatically cancel it. I'm losing the the iframes. So it is really important to like pace yourself. Do not just hold W without thinking what's gonna happen. For example, let's say if I hit this guy with Sonic Blade Crescent, right, and I continue like this, and their mate is outside of the range, and they're gonna be dropping a nuke on me. If I press it right away, it has a long hit stun, as you can see, right? If I press it, if I press forward right away, what's gonna happen is that yeah, I can continue going into a combo, but that also means that I'm available to get nuked by the other guy on the other side, assuming that I have a nuke, right? This also applies a lot with lingering fields. What kind of fields I'm talking about? Genesis fields, heavy field, blanket of authority, hoary blue, um, the papyrus, stuff like that, right? So if I do this, let's say there's a papyrus or like a field on me, right? What I can do to escape, let's say that they have it on this side, right? What I could do to escape is like spinning into shoulder tackle, right? To get out of that field, right? Assuming that I'm within an escaping range out of the thing, right? If they put it right here on me on a platform, like let's say up high here, it's gonna cover everything on this side, so I would be pretty much boned, right? But if they put it like on top of me, I can like wake up, Sonic Blade Crescent into this, right? To get out. So that also moves. Let's move on to next button. Which would be pretty much tackle, right? Tackle doesn't have that much iframes, and the boom on it is not that good anymore, as you can see. But it's a really strong advancing option, and it does damage, like a really good amount of damage, right? So, the main use of tackle is a gap closer, an escape, and a damage run. So let's say if I'm here, say this guy's here, and I'm in the middle of there, but I already spent mortal blow on one guy, right? Let's say here. I could realistically, like crescent to the side, like this. Or I can, if I want to save crescent for another moment, I can use like tackle, right? Like this. This is most of the time how a 2v1 is gonna look like, right? Drop a skill here, you go to the other one. Like the options are there, right? You gotta learn your ranges, obviously, but that'll be the essential thing, right? Dropping one skill on another guy, going to another, like that. So that also allows you, and since it's tenacities in general, it's really cheap to do, right? Plus you get style points. Honestly, I do believe that going for this kind of place is super fun, especially in a 2v2 scenario, because I mean, it allows you to express your skill, right? The ability that you have to like weave in, commands, skills in general. It's fun to do, because it adds a layer of depth into the combat that I personally like, right? Most of the time whenever I'm playing, I try to go for those 2v1 plays because, well, they look fun, they look flashy, right? Right? So the options are there, right? So yeah, moving on to tackle again. It does have a lingering hitbox, as you can see here. Alright. So you can use it to, for example, like getting a catch just by jumping. Well, it depends a lot on like your speed, as you can see. The lingering is not that much, but it does help you sometimes to get people off guard. So that'll be the best main application of tackle. So now let's move on to the other button, which was going to be Sonic Blade. Sonic Blade can be either used base or mod. Honestly, I prefer mod most of the time, in 2 specifically, because, well, it's just a base. The base one is a stun. It's 2 seconds. The animation is not that fast. So in general, what's going to happen is that it's going to be a 50-50 between if you get somebody in the stun or not, or they get to act out before you. So it's kind of tricky, right? So unless you have a mate that can lower elemental resistances, so your stun is longer, so it's easier and safer for you to use it. Most of the time, you're going to be using modded. So what's the main thing about mod? It's a boom, right? As you can see, I can take actions while doing Sonic Blade. So what does this do for me? What's the whole thing about this, right? So let's say this guy is right here on the bottom, right? And I'm playing this guy on the bottom, on the bottom layer of the map. This guy's in the top or middle, however you want to consider it. So for example, I can drop this and like go up, right? Assuming that I didn't mess up. Right, so it's a catching tool. Hyper Axle into Sonic Blade. You get to see a catch most of the time, right? You can slide it off ledges as well, right? So that's the main application, right? Which is it's gonna be your boom. It's going to be what it allows you to have a better experience catching people out of their options, because you're gonna be booming. You're gonna be on advantage. You're gonna be able to like close in that gap. And sometimes it can also be used for the buff, right? It's some chip damage, as you can see there. It does okay damage. The buff, it's a polarizing thing. What does this mean? It has a 20% chance to stun whenever you attack. This means on anything that you do, right? So if I do Sonic Blade and I do this, it would, as you can see, the sun just popped there, right? So if I do that, either, yeah, it's gonna help me out. It's gonna reset their mana break. Great. But another thing would be like, oh, damn. They just got stunned. They have a stun resistance passive, or they were actually, the hits desynchronized, so they would be able to like act out before I do. And this happens with combos as well, right? And Wind Slicer can proc it. So if you do grounded combos like this, great, amazing, no problem. The issues with launches, so like if they get to act out before you in the middle of the air. All right, let me separate both of them. Oh fuck. Okay, whatever. So if I do it in the middle of the air, yeah, they get it resets their mana break, but most of the time if they get stunned in the air, they're gonna act out before you. So it is not fully recommended to launch while you have Sonic Blade buff on, and sometimes it's gonna be necessary because a platform is right next to you, or they already took so many hits, so they possibly can KD. So you want to do that extra to like lower their knockdown rate, but it can be tricky, honestly. Like sometimes it's gonna work out, you're gonna look cool, but other times it's gonna be like, damn, it didn't work out. They reversaled me. I'm gonna eat a bunch of damage. So yeah, that'll be pretty much it. So yeah, that'll be the applications and overall usages of Sonic Blade. It's mainly either a stun on the base form or a boom, so you can like play around, right? For example, like Sonic Blade like this. So yeah, the application is there. Normally that's how a 2v1 would be looking like on KE. Or you can just, gather them together and do damage, right? So yeah, let's move on to our next skill, roll. Base elbow, pretty much. Iframe button. Good for, stuffing people, getting a catch, dodging, nukes or skills. So the only thing that I don't like is that, honestly, like, compared to like for another like buttons that have iframes, like backblast or bang or all these other things, I think roll is kind of lackluster for what it does, right? It gets tricky, right? Sometimes they can act before you do, so it's mainly a button that you want to like learn how to use. It also depends on getting a read of the other team to see if they're like trigger happy or if they're really conservative with their buttons. So sometimes its effectiveness can fall off if they get used to you rolling into their buttons. So it's really a decision up to you, right? It's good for 2v1ing in a way. For example, if I'm doing this and they're gonna nuke me, I can roll and then follow up with something else, but it's risky still. I personally don't like roll. I think it's too slow. It has its applications. I know how to use it sometimes. But it's not of my preference, right? So, yeah. Armor break, same thing. It's pretty much just a damage jump. You should be using armor break and everything as you can. Most of the time, it, forces breaks because, well, you're eating more damage. So that's that. Self-explanatory. Counter mainly for commands. If you have well, counter can help with a lot of matchups. Mainly characters that are dashing around, just throwing hitboxes out, like CA, like Immortal, like Empire Sword, BQ, DA sometimes. So why? Because I mean, if I do it like this, if they have a good connection, they get stopped by counter, they get into the animation, and I'm getting them out of that, right? I can, just for a safety net, I can press everybody and press it, so I can intercept their trajectory, and I would be able to like get them out of that, right? And link it into something else, like for example, Mortal Blow, for example, right? So that'll be basic applications of my current skill bar. That I personally I don't use roll. I don't have that thing. So let's move on into other buttons, right? This is gonna be a long video, as you can see, right? I'm gonna try to divide it into like segments. It's gonna be a little bit more tricky, but still, I'll do it. Let's move on into other buttons. So let's go with vertical, where we have it in the bar. Armageddon Blade. And let's throw in Imperial Crusher for now. Okay. So what are the applications of this one? It's pretty much number one, vertical. It's just a straight up damage one. It's a nuke. It's your bazooka, however you may want to call it. If you're gonna be stacking strength KE, this is the button that you're gonna be doing damage with. Okay. It gets amped up with Armor Blade. Armor Blade is pretty much your insta or your buff. It increases your range, so it does help a lot. Stuff like that, right? As you can see, it does help. So with our vertical, as you can see, the range is humongous. It hits all the way up there. So it increases the damage that it does by 50%. So those are the main applications of vertical and Armor Blade. Armor Blade is mainly a buff. You can use like a true setup of vertical because they can clock Armageddon Blade, right? But if you do the modded version, since it's on launch, they are not able to like clock, right? So that's pretty much the application of Armageddon Blade. It's a buff. It increases your vertical damage. It does good refund, does good damage to a degree. So yeah. Whenever I'm playing Tenacity KE, most of the time I'm gonna be either running vertical or I'm gonna be running Armageddon Blade. Because extra range, damage buff, overall like a great button to use, right? Or vertical if I'm looking for a more damage approach, right? As I previously mentioned, Tenacity KE is pretty much all four tenacities and an extra damage button or any other button that you may want, right? You have 2 slots that are empty for you to play with whatever you want. So that's how I personally play. Not vertical build, as I mentioned, it's just vertical and T slot, Armageddon Blade up, and you're just gonna be aiming to land that big hit. Okay. Now let's talk about Imperial Crusher. Imperial Crusher is a personal favorite of mine because it's a really, really, really big boom. And it has a lot of hitbox. Really big hitbox, right? As you can see. So it's a boom. Well, so let's say, right, for example, if I launch this guy, and then Imperial Crusher this guy, you see the time step on that thing. So this can be used in between like bursting someone down. Like let's say if they're in super armor, I can do Imperial Crusher. Let's say Mortal Blow, Awakening, Mortal Blow, Imperial Crusher. And that's gonna give me enough time for another Mortal Blow, right? So it is really, really big. As you can see there. That's one of the applications of that. It's mainly for booming and stoic punishment. If you're fighting another L-boy, for example, you just gotta count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you press Imperial Crusher, and you're gonna be out of Iron Body. So you're gonna get him. You're gonna get a catch, right? So that's a really good application of Imperial Crusher. It is pretty much how it was used back in the past. And the application is still there, but with a heavy trade. It used to have reverse trade, so it was cheaper, but nowadays it doesn't have it. It's still a really good, solid option. You got Sandstorm. Sandstorm in general is just for cutting paths and doing damage, as you can see there. So I'm cutting pretty much this whole part of the map. I think it does have a hitbox on below, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just check. No, it doesn't. Okay, just wanted to double check. Then we have windmill. Windmill is really a versatile option. I like it a lot. Because of my character is not that geared, I personally don't use it, but with gear it does a lot of damage and it refunds itself, right? So it's really versatile. I like it. Really good option in general. It has immense range, as you can see. It does only 6 hits, so it doesn't like get that much give that much MP to the enemy, and like it allows for situations in which like you're gonna be like grouping people up like that, right? So really strong option in general. All right. Lastly, another noteworthy option that you may have, it's the following 3 buttons, right? Which would be, Impact Smash, Fortitude, and Flame Geyser, right? So what are the applications? Pretty much like Impact Smash is a big, oh my god, take this type thing. It does good damage. It's good burst, and well, it knocks up people, right? So sometimes it can help out with getting other people. I mean, other guys as well. It lingers a lot, so yeah, it's a good button. But it does take a little bit more to get used to it. Then we have Flame Geyser. This splashes, right? So most of the time it's your damage button. If they end up getting splashed, or let's say if I do this, right? I set it up like that, right? And they eat damage. It got nerfed, so it's not as good anymore. However, it's fun to play with. I personally like using it. And well, it does linger as well. It can be slid off platforms, as you can see there. So it's really fun to use. And lastly, we have Fortitude. Fortitude in general, I like it as well. It's a big option when it comes to like air usage. Alright. So, for example, I can be like doing this, dropping a mortal blow, and then swapping side and dropping it, and I'm getting 2 people, right? Or I can just like pop Hyper Axel, drop it. So the options are pretty good. And it allows to explosive plays. So pretty much those are the buttons that Night Emperor has. I could talk about like Rolling Smash. If you want to play with actives, it's not that recommended, because of the nature of the game nowadays is like drop damage, do damage, just drop your nuke, right? So Rolling Smash in general is just another ambush option, an option for you to get out of harm's way, right? Or trying to save a teammate, right? But you are committing into it, right? It can be used into CCC into this if you want to continue the combo. It's versatile. It's not a damage option. It's only used for you to trade, get out, go in. That's pretty much it. Okay. So, and lastly, well, your last 2 skills, which would be like Hyperactive, 100% you want to use Gigantic Slash. The other one is sucks. It doesn't even link it to itself. So yeah, during Gigantic Slash, everything gets a mana break is stopped, so your teammate can try to nuke. And well, lastly you have this. Solarius in general, I like it a lot. It's really simple, but think of it like an extension, right? So let's say if I can do Sonic Blade here, like this, I can turn around, press Solarius, and it's gonna hit both of them. Think of it like an extension or like an extra button that you can play for extra damage, more time for you to like think of how a better way for you to gather them, or stalling. Especially for like 12-5, you can like KD them, or whenever they die, you can press Solarius into Awakening, and boom, they die because it's already been 3 seconds, right? Or Solarius into like Sonic Blade, so they get burnt, So that's pretty much all the skills that K has. I'm gonna be trying to segment the video. I've never done it before, but I don't think it should be that hard. But yeah, that's pretty much all the skills. If you guys have questions, let me know.